Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
And today we're going to talk about what's become what I call mask rage. Mask rage is the new trend, and it used to be road rage you'd hear of a lot now before, but now of course it's mask rage. I was in Lidl there about a week ago, and I went up to the till with my stuff, and I wasn't wearing a mask. Totally forgot to wear the mask, and I got a lecture from the guy who's behind the till at the top of his voice. So he was making sure that the whole queue heard me and that he was chastising me on behalf of them. And I got a few evil stares from the people in the queue, and he was driving it, which actually put me in a bit of danger, because there's such thing now as mask rage. There's people that if you walk into Lidl or Tesco's or wherever you walk in, there are people that will almost break your face if they're wearing a mask, and they feel they have a right to abuse you because you're not wearing the mask.
Correct.
And you might have forgotten. Now, the thing about it is that this individual is not normally, his behaviour is not normally like this. And I think it's because what's happening in places like Lidl is they're so overworked, they're treated like slaves, they really are, that he couldn't take any more of the stress of it. And he took his rage that he should be directing towards Lidl, he took it out on me. And that's not really what happened, because he's overworked.
Correct.
You know, so of course that wouldn't be the experience in the small towns and villages.
Not at all. It would never be an experience. You'd never be spoken to in that manner. You see, this is where people have lost, what would I call it, common sense and the appreciation of the family store, to their eternal shame. Actually, I find them absolutely disgusting, to be honest about it, that they're have no allegiance. I wonder, have they allegiance even to the country? And haven't certainly got allegiance and respect for other people. For example, I find it most inconvenient to have a mask on. I find it interferes with my breathing. Mm-hmm. And I find it a disgusting thing to have to wear. But now, not alone have you to wear a mask, you have to wear one in the church, orders of the bishops. Now, they'd want to do their job in a proper way and not be on about this business of masks. The fact that when you're in a church, you're in a holy place, for goodness sake, and they're not, why are you following the state's directives? Now, what happened is an example. This was the cashier, who normally don't have two words to rub together, because most of them are foreigners. They wouldn't know how to talk. If you were Polish, perhaps, or Latvian, they might be able to speak to you.
But they generally don't speak, because they have to get so many people through the queue. They're so overworked that they're worn out. The staff in Lidl are absolutely worn out.
Right. Well, you were shopping there and bringing goods out, paying for it. I presume you didn't sort of say, put it on the slate, as you would in the shop. In the family store, which many a person did. So all I can say is that your experience was typical of the way that people now are behaving with this constant yap about COVID. Mm-hmm. And it's causing trouble. It's causing trouble to citizens because it's overdone.
It is, but see, the thing about where he went wrong was, what should have happened there was, I should have been, if they were going to have an issue with the mask, what they should have done was, they should have had somebody at the door, first of all. They're too mean to pay somebody at the door. And that person at the door, the first point of contact, should have said to me, discreetly, is there any particular reason why you mightn't be wearing a mask today? Rather than allow me get as far as the till, and my friend is there ready to ambush me, and he probably wanted an audience, I don't know. But his first question, even at the till, should have been, is there any reason why you're not wearing a mask today? Simple question.
First of all, I don't think it should have been his job in the first place to ask you anything like that. To be not asking you such a personal question. You don't want to discuss any health issues that you might have as regards wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. I personally don't like wearing a mask, but now I'm obliged to do it when I'm in the supermarkets, which sometimes I don't, because I go to a local supermarket and they're not going to sort of turn away the business that I'm given. But as you rightly say, some of the public can look at you as if like you've two heads, as if you've done something on them because you're not wearing a mask. I'm looking at them and I'm absolutely amazed at the stupidity that they're suffering under with this mask business. The same people that probably voted for abortion and various other terrible issues, they're so concerned about their own miserable health that they expect everybody to go around a mask. What a desperate situation.
The whole thing about the mask thing now is that it's become self-policing. You have people that are appointing themselves now in these stores, members of the public, who feel they have a right to shove a mask on your face.
They have no such a thing.
They haven't. But what I'm saying is that it can be a dangerous situation with the way the government is promoting this now. Okay, it can be a dangerous situation for members of the public.
This is what happened in Nazi Germany, that suddenly ordinary people couldn't voice an opinion because the public was against it. This is how Hitler come to power and abused what he was about. His agenda, which is murdering people, innocent people, millions of them, including hundreds of thousands of Catholics, priests and all the rest. Anybody that issued an opinion about them whatsoever, their lives was they could be murdered even going about. Yeah. And this is the same thing that's happening here. These people, if they want to wear a mask, if they're so dependent on what the government says and all the rest of it, and have no independent mind to sort of reject that type of mass, what I call hysteria. You've got to have a mind that questions things. And quite frankly, it's vastly overdone in my opinion. Not everybody is going to have this virus. The number of deaths seems to be very little. People die from other things. They're often talking about the north of Ireland, the 6 counties, which is a different jurisdiction, and talking about the number of people testing for the COVID, but no deaths. So, what's the agenda? What are they, this country seems to be more severe than a lot of other European countries. For example, Ryanair has criticised the fact that in this country only recognises 9 countries as being safe, when other countries recognise about 50 countries as being safe to go to. So we're all restricted in this country. There's one thing I'd love to do, it's travel. And looking forward to it this year, to visit various countries that have a great tradition of Catholic faith and shrines. Poland, for example, Krakow, and I want to see this, what the Germans had, this Auschwitz. I believe it's a great experience to visit it and see what they did. And this is where a totalitarian state, like what we're developing here, which was spoken about in 2015, in March 2015, by the Alive magazine. They referred to the Fine Gael Labour government as totalitarian, and Fianna Fáil under Micheál Martin not much better. And I refer to those episodes at meetings when they were supporting the same-sex marriage referendum against all the advice of the party. So suffice to say that we're totally against that, and there's no need for all these restrictions that now that they're imposing on people. And closing businesses closed. They're destroying the country, in my book, for their own ends. And I don't know what they are. They have an agenda.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you very much, Oliver.